This presentation will provide an overview for the concept proposal application. As a reminder, those of you whom are interested in applying through the additional assistance application process, please note that references to the FAST system are not applicable through the context of two applications will remain the same. More information will be available on additional assistance program when it opens in November 2025. The first tab is the General Information tab, and it contains 4 items. The application organization should match the legal name of the organization that will serve as the lead for the project and will receive grant funds. The submitting organization should match the name of the organization submitting the concept proposal application. In most cases, this is the same as the applicant organization. However, if a grant writer prepares the concept proposal application on behalf of an applicant, you must disclose the grant writing organization to prevent possible conflict of interest during the review process. Next, provide a title that concisely describes your project in 15 words or less. Please avoid using acronyms here and naming your project 2026 SCGBP. Titles should also not be named of an individual. When providing a project description, think of this as an abstract or a one-paragraph overview of your project. Remember, this is the first section of your proposal that reviewers will read. It should summarize exactly what your project will do, using clear language and avoiding jargon. A good project description briefly covers the core components of the proposed project, including a description of the problem, how the project will address it, what the expected outcomes are, and how you will evaluate them. If you are interested, you can find titles and descriptions for previously funded projects on our website. The next is the Project Budget tab. This tab provides a summary of the project budget. The budget template is a document that will be needed to be downloaded from FAST. For the fund requested, enter the total amount of a Specialty Crop Block Grant Program or SCGBP funds you are seeking for your project. This amount must match Category 1 in the budget template that you will attach to your concept proposal application in FAST and must be between $100,000 and $500,000 or between $100,000 and $250,000 for the additional assistance program. Please note that a request outside of this range may result in a proposal being disqualified. For local cost match, estimate the amount of cost sharing committed to your project. Cost shares include matching funds and an in-kind contribution. To clarify the difference, matching funds refers to a dollar amount committed to your program from a source other than SCGBP. An in-kind contribution is an estimated dollar amount of any time, property, or supplies donated to your project. An example of an in-kind contribution would be someone working on your project that is not paid. You would estimate the value of their in-kind contribution based on what they would typically be paid for the similar work. Cost share is not required. Also, note that this amount does not get reported on the budget template. And lastly, under total budget, enter the sum of the funds requested and the local cost share. The questionnaire tab contains the 11 sections that make up the core of the concept proposal. These include the 7 items that will be scored, and there are 50 points possible. For this question, select the organization type that best describes the applicant. Nonprofit, for-profit, local, state, federal, and tribal government agencies, and colleges and universities are eligible to apply. However, individuals are not eligible to apply. If you are an individual, you must partner with one of the listed organizations to submit a collaborative project. This question is unscored. Next, applicants will select a funding area and funding category. Please read the full description of the funding areas and categories in the Request for Concept Proposals, or RFCP. Then select the most appropriate funding area and category for your project from the drop-down menu. We understand that the project might seem to address elements from multiple funding categories. However, you must select one funding category that most closely aligns with the primary focus of your project. The funding category is a key part of your application, since the proposed project will be evaluated on how it addresses a need for specialty crop industry within the selected category. Further, the funding category determines which committee will be reviewing your concept proposal application, ensuring that your application is evaluated by reviewers with the relevant area of expertise. It is important to note that funding categories cannot be changed at any time after the concept proposal application is submitted, which means misidentified proposal applications cannot be reassigned. Therefore, it is vital to select carefully that your proposal can be evaluated accurately. This question is unscored. Section 3 addresses program priorities. In the RFCP, each funding category has a list of associated program priorities. These priorities serve as a guide to the general issues impacting the specialty crop industry within each funding category. Program priorities should correlate with the specific existing issue, problem, or need of the specialty crop industry that your project will address. All projects must address at least one priority, and please note that proposals that select multiple program priorities do not receive extra consideration. At least one of the program priorities listed must be associated with the funding category you identified in Section 2. We also ask that you copy and paste the program priorities exactly as written in the RFCP. Please do not alter them in any way, and provide a brief explanation on how the project will address each priority selected. This question is worth 5 points. The project purpose is where you will describe how your project addresses the question, is the project a priority for the specialty crop industry? There will be 2 text boxes provided for this question. In the first text box, thoroughly explain the issue, problem, or need of the specialty crop industry that your project will address. Be sure to discuss this in relation to the funding category and the program priority you have identified. Remember to describe how your project targets an external problem facing the specialty crop industry rather than an internal problem facing your organization. Describe the issue in detail and use data to support your argument. Also, be sure to establish why your organization is well equipped to address this issue. In the second text box, explain why the issue you identified is important and timely for the specialty crop industry. This is also the place to list the specific specialty crops that will be affected if possible. Keep in mind the ultimate purpose of all projects must be to enhance the competitiveness of California specialty crops. This question is worth 10 points. The next section asks whether the proposal you are submitting builds upon previous projects that was funded by SCGBP. If your proposed project builds upon a previously funded project, select Yes from the drop-down menu provided. In the first text box, provide the grant number for the previous project, and in the second text box, explain how the proposed project differs from and builds upon the previous work. The key thing to note here is that the SCGBP cannot fund projects that duplicate work done in prior projects, so it is important to thoroughly describe how the proposed project is different from any previous projects. Also, note that if your organization has received funding in the past for an unrelated project, it is not necessary to disclose that here. If your proposal does not build upon a prior year SCGBP project, select No from the drop-down menu. This question is unscored. The next question is project sustainability. USDA and CDFA want awarded projects to have a long-term impact without relying indefinitely on grant funding. So in the text box provided, explain how your project will become self-sustaining beyond the grant duration. For example, if your project will create a new program, outline a plan of how the program will continue to exist after the end of the grant period. Or if for projects that will not continue beyond the grant duration, describe how the results of your project will continue to benefit California's specialty crop industry after the project is complete. For example, a research project may post findings on a website that will continue to be accessible after the grant duration. This question is worth 5 points. The next question asks you to identify and describe the project beneficiaries. In the first text box, estimate the number of project beneficiaries. This number should be realistic, tractable, and reportable. In the second text box, describe how the number of beneficiaries was determined, who the beneficiaries are, and how they will benefit from the results of the project. Note that beneficiaries identified should be direct or primary beneficiaries of the project results. This typically does not include secondary beneficiaries, such as employees of the applicant organization or excessive number of beneficiaries, such as all farmers of California. Also, keep in mind that the project directly benefiting a single individual or organization is not allowed. It is expected that the project will benefit some segment of the specialty crop industry. Lastly, if possible, identify the specific specialty crop that will be affected. This question is worth 5 points. Next is where the project outcome measures is selected. You won't select or provide information regarding the outcome measures in FAST. Instead, download and save the Microsoft Word Form 1.6.1.1, also known as the outcome measures template, to your computer. Open the saved document, fill in your information, save it again, and then upload the completed Word doc in the Attachment tab. After you have uploaded, we recommend that you open the document in FAST to confirm that it is correct. Today's FAST demonstration will show you exactly what Attachment tab looks like and how to upload the file. In the template, you will identify one or more outcome measures to demonstrate that the project will enhance the competitiveness of California specialty crops. A later presentation will cover the outcome measures more thoroughly, so we won't go into further detail here. The outcome measure template is worth 10 points. Project duration is next. The maximum grant duration for SCGP projects is 2 years and 8 months. Projects cannot start before November 1st, 2026 or end after June 30th, 2029. Any dates outside of this range may result in disqualification. We won't assume that the dates outside of this range is a typo, so please double check this before submitting your application. Please note that no cost extension beyond June 30th, 2029 will not be allowed. This question is unscored. The next section is about the project work plan and outreach. In the text box, describe the proposed plan to accomplish the work plan. List the activities that will be conducted to ensure that the project objectives and selected outcome measures can be achieved. The work plan should also indicate who will be responsible for each activity. Note that anyone who is designated to receive funding in the budget section must be listed in the work plan. Estimate when each activity will occur. Be sure that the dates for all activities are within the specific project duration for this project. Please use a month-year format such as January 2027 or March through June 2028. Also, please describe the project's outreach component. In other words, how the project results will be shared with the targeted audience, stakeholders, and other interested parties beyond those directly involved in the project. Some examples of outreach include conferences, presentations, journal articles, educational material, or website context. This question is worth 10 points. The last section of the questionnaire tab, number 11, is the budget template. As with the outcome measures, you won't actually fill out your project budget in FAST. Click the link in section 11 to download and save Form 1.6.1.2, also known as the budget template, to your computer. Open the save document, fill in your information, save it again, and then upload the complete PDF document in the attachment tab. After you have uploaded it, again, we recommend that you open the document from FAST to confirm that it is correct. And as mentioned before, today's FAST presentation will show you exactly what the attachment tab looks like and how to upload a file. All items listed in the budget template must support enhancing the competitiveness of specialty crops and directly relate to the project objectives. The budget template is worth 5 points. For both the outcome measures and the budget templates, there are a few specific issues to keep in mind that could result in the disqualification of your concept proposal application. Submitting an incorrect or incomplete template, which would also include a modified template, attaching a blank template by mistake, forgetting to attach your template, or attaching files other than the outcome measures and budget template. Once again, please double check to make sure you attach the correct outcome measures and budget template to your application before you submit. Note that both were updated in 2025. Please ensure you downloaded the most recent version from the Specialty Crop website. Finally, there are several resources and links available on the SCGBP website to help you as you complete your proposal. This includes the allowable and unallowable cost and activities table, which has also been provided today, the question and answers from our Q&As, links to the recording of our webinar, the budget template, the outcome measures template and supplements, and the SCGBP frequently asked questions, or FAQ.